I'll never forget the day. It was June 12th, 2020. And I was like, okay, it's on sale. Why don't we have them just do a story to Amazon instead? So we spent about like 20,000 on 10 different influencers. They posted, and I woke up in the morning and we were at like $360,000 in sales. We ended up with $786,000 on that just one day of deal of the day. And that's really what got me into social selling, the power of social media, the power of influencers, the power of affiliates, and also how.
Yeah, I think there's about 7 countries represented today. Okay, good. So, as promised, it's 1:05. I'm going to get started. And I definitely recommend you guys stay till the end. The last part will not be in the YouTube and shared recording. It's only going to be live on this call. So, definitely want to stick around. It does stay good all the way through, I promise. So, what we're going to be doing here today is obviously, you guys know the title, how Lumineux used social selling to grow from $5 million to $70 million in just 3 years. But we're going to do this in 3 parts. I'm going to just level set, go over some basic stats on social selling. That's going to be about 15 minutes. Then we're going to have a 30-minute open discussion with Justin, which is going to be in 3 parts. He's going to talk about social selling. He's going to talk about retail and how those two play together. And then we're going to finish that 30 minutes with a live Q&A, and we're going to try to get to all your questions. Then at the end, Ernesto here is going to top us off with a closer of what you guys can do to actually effectively accomplish social selling for your brand in a scalable way. So you're not going to have the solution if you just get excited, right? You need to get excited, and then you need to have the solution at the end. So that's the 3 parts of the talk today, and I'm going to get started. My name is Ian Page. I'm the CEO of Bullseye Sellers, this logo right here. We are out of Tampa Bay, Florida. Right now I'm in Pennsylvania, but most of our team is in Tampa Bay, Florida. And a little bit about Bullseye. So, Bullseye, we are marketplace experts obsessed with growing your brand. We are expert marketplace managers. Right now, we help over 150 brands between Amazon and TikTok and D2C channels through expert advertising, marketplace management, and data-driven strategy. We are a TSP, which is a TikTok Shop partner. We're also an Amazon Ads partner. We're also Google. We're a Klaviyo partner. We're Meta as well. All of our account managers are also based either in the US or the UK, just for reference. We were founded in 2018 after I sold my brand, and I recruited on my executive team only people who have sold, only people who have done e-commerce. I don't have anyone running accounts that don't know what it's like to actually manage their own brand. So that's what's unique here. And we have 50 staff, a little bit more, and we manage over 10,000 SKUs under management. As you can see, some of the clients we manage on the right, I don't know if you recognize any of them. One of them's here on this call today. So, social selling, the next big opportunity for Amazon and e-commerce sellers. This is why you guys are here today. You want the dirt, you want the skinny, and I'm going to give it to you. Social selling is the biggest e-commerce opportunity in a generation, and I don't think any of you want to miss out or be late to the party. You definitely don't want to be last, okay? If you're not first, you're last, was famously said. And let's talk about some stats. Okay. Stats can be boring, but I'll try to make them exciting for you. So this is social selling revenue, and this is in the billions, billions. Right now, this year, it's projected to hit 150 billion in the US from just social selling. So that would be social media from Instagram, Meta, TikTok Shop, not Amazon. This is just social selling revenue statistics. And you can see the projections are probably going to be the same of what you guys have seen. By 2029, it's estimated to be at 275 billion. Here's why it keeps going up. Here's the main reason. The average person is on social media for 2.5 hours a day. That's terrifying. I just keep thinking, what would happen if we were all full self-driving cars and no one was driving anymore? I think that'd go up to about 3.5, which is even more terrifying, but it's definitely taking over our lives, and there's nothing we can really do about it at this point. There's 4.5 billion global users engaging in social selling. So this is a massive, massive playground. Here's some specific stats. 26% of global users aged 13 and above engage in in-app shopping, which is incredible. Nearly 65.7 million US social shoppers via Meta in Facebook and Instagram alone. Around 49% of consumers make monthly purchases based on influencer posts. This is the key stat here. So half of every consumer is influenced by social media. Social commerce will account for, let me get rid of I got a little window that's blocking my ability to view. Social commerce will account for 17% of total online retail, nearing 80 billion in the US alone. So it's crazy, guys. It's absolutely bananas. So here is a little timeline. I think it's good to give you guys a quick history lesson. Social selling really started with Facebook in 2014. It was very limited. They did about 2.5 million a month native within Facebook. I think you guys remember Facebook had their own little shopping mall. That's really where it started in 2014. Instagram Shop launched in 2020. Visual selling evolution, influencer driven commerce with $20 million a month from D2C and affiliate campaigns. But then it just explodes. And you can see a very small evolution from one to two. And then from two to three, it goes completely bananas with TikTok Shop. This is the new era of social selling. Real-time selling via short-form video commerce. Annual sales are 32 billion per year right now, growing at 120% year over year. And the projections are by 2029, $150 billion globally, rivaling traditional e-commerce platforms. So Amazon's been the winner for 20 years, but something's changing. It's finally starting to get disrupted. And that's the advent of social media. Let's be honest, social selling presents immense opportunities, but it's often challenging as it's generally not a plug and play solution. Understanding how to simply engage in social selling is key to unlocking its potential. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The vast opportunity is definitely there. 3.78 million influencers are in the US. That even shocked me. I couldn't believe it when I saw that stat. 3.78 million people consider themselves influencers. Okay. This demands engagement. Success requires consistent content creation, community building, and active participation. I think that's the part that most of you guys are probably like, it's exhausting. I don't know if I want to play that game, but I know I need to. But there are actionable strategies. We'll reveal the clear actionable steps to navigate and win in this dynamic landscape. So, myth versus truth. So, I made this slide because I wanted to show you guys that you don't need to partner with Kim Kardashian to be successful. Okay. You don't need a huge budget to win. And Justin's going to tell you some stories that'll blow your mind, some ROAS stories that are going to blow your mind. You don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars per month to work with hundreds of influencers. Our data shows a major celebrity influencer only delivered 5,000 views despite their massive following. In fact, it's estimated that small creators account for $2 billion a month in sales on TikTok Shop. And a niche creator with just 1,200 followers actually generated 1.1 million views and 3x higher conversion rates. That just happened recently. So small sellers are starting, or small affiliates are starting to win. And that's an opportunity for you guys, especially people here that don't have 250, 300,000 a month in marketing spend. So let's go over the concerns. Let's air out your grievances now. Let's get all that done. Social selling is a fad. I think you guys know that's not true. Might be something the boomers say, but I think everyone on this call knows that it's not a fad. Social selling platforms now support millions of small businesses. They generate billions in annual revenue and they're growing rapidly. And we are confident in their long-term viability. So here at Bullseye, we're extremely bullish on TikTok Shop. Like we think right now is 2006, 2007 Amazon for TikTok. So we're putting 80% of our daily efforts into learning that platform because of that. Consumer trust. This is another aspect. Shoppers actually trust social selling and it's consistently increasing, driven by platform's strong focus on seller compliance and robust customer support. The shopper demographic is also expanding and maturing. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's now over 50% of all TikTok users are over the age of 35. So that's incredible. So if you're here and you're like, we sell a pre-menopause supplement, or we sell, something that isn't good for the 22-year-olds, don't worry. TikTok actually does have your audience. Onboarding complexity. We found that approval processes for new social selling platforms have actually gotten really straightforward, and they're only taking us a matter of days for eligible businesses. And then the last grievance is learning a new channel. And I'm just going to be straight with you guys. Remember when you thought about Amazon and you were like, how am I going to figure that out? Every new sales channel has a learning curve, but that is no excuse to miss out on the largest social selling opportunity in the world. So we can't use that as an excuse, right? So then we're gonna go into Justin. We're gonna highlight him because you guys are here for him today. Justin's story is incredible. He's the CMO of Lumineux. Lumineux scaled from 5 million to 70 million plus in just 3 years, which is just incredible. Justin at the helm built a budget conscious affiliate powered content engine. That's a lot of adjectives using everyday creators and social first storytelling. And the result, massive consumer demand that got them shelf space in every Target, Walmart, CVS, and Whole Foods nationwide. He's in 15,000 doors. And 3 years ago, he was a nobody. Lumineux was a no brand. And now they're all over the place. I was just in a Walmart 2 days ago, and there Lumineux was right on the top shelf, and it was almost sold out. So hey, good job, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then what Justin's going to go into is driving traffic through social selling. Here's some examples of his thousands of video content that his team and partners like Bullseye have helped him produce. And here's the results. And what we always say here at Bullseye is it's all about branded search. Nothing else matters but branded search. Check this out. 35,000 per month search volume for his main product, Lumineux teeth whitening strips, up 73%. Lumineux toothpaste, 10,000 a month search volume. And Lumineux as a brand is now getting 20,000 a month search volume. And these are just Amazon metrics. They're now at almost $50 million alone this year on Amazon, not including all the retail, TikTok, and every other sales channel he's in. One product is now selling over 50,000 units in a month. So without further ado, I want to introduce, I have one more slide. I spoke too quick. Lumineux achievements scaled from 5 million to 70 million in 3 years, secured shelf space in every single pretty much major store in the US, and built 80% of ecom revenue through affiliate driven social selling, and has outperformed leading brands with a lean, creative led strategy. So he's in the space, guys. You guys know he's in the Crest space, he's in the Colgate space. These guys have been around for 100 years, and he is beating these guys. Okay. So we're going to do this in three parts. We're going to start with questions on the subject of social selling, and then we're going to go into retail came knocking, and then we're going to open a live Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to highlight Mr. Justin Madahi. Welcome to the webinar today.
Thank you for having me. What a great intro. Now I have to really deliver with everything.
You better give some good stuff, man.
Oh,
People are
I
here for
will.
you.
I will. I think we're in very interesting times. So I started working at Lumineux. I was at UCLA at the time in my second year at 2015. My dad is the founder. And, really from, I would say 2015 to 2019, I was kind of in the place where a lot of brands get stuck in, which is the 1 to 2, max 5 million revenue place. You can't really get significant traction on any of the channels like Meta, Facebook, social media, Amazon PPC, influencers, PR, all of that. And then, what really changed it for us is we worked with this Instagram influencer. Her name was Anna Grace. She had pink hair, super crazy, cursing in the video. Very similar to the TikTok content that now goes viral. And what she did is she posted her videos on her Instagram story, and we saw like, oh wow, we generated $15,000 in one day to our Shopify site in 2019. And we're like, oh, there's something here with this social media driving it to a website. So, we did that for about a year. All of 2019, we worked with different influencers and we got traction here and there, but we weren't really able to string anything together. So at that point, I was super frustrated. And what I then thought was like, okay, we have this Amazon deal of the day going. This was in 2020. I'll never forget the day. It was June 12th, 2020. And I was like, okay, it's on sale. Why don't we have them just do a story to Amazon instead? So we spent about like 20,000 on 10 different influencers. They posted, and I woke up in the morning and we were at like $360,000 in sales. We ended up with $786,000 on that just one day of deal of the day. And that's really what got me into social selling, the power of social media, the power of influencers, the power of affiliates, and also how when you have a correct place to send the traffic, it makes a huge difference on the conversion rate, how many people are willing to try it, and also the repeat customer rate. So I think our biggest win is we realize, okay, for us, Amazon is a great place to send traffic to. It works super well. So we leverage that by working with a ton more influencers. I think we've had over the last 5 years about 50 $1 million days. So all on the prime days, we always do over $1 million in revenue, and now that they're like making it 4 days of Prime Day, it's getting a bit harder because they've like made the bar much higher of how much revenue you have to do, but we still make it. And really, the biggest takeaway there for me is the power of social media and how if you send it to the correct place, you can have a huge win. So, ever since TikTok came along, this kind of disrupted our model, but it also led to a lot more opportunity, which is, TikTok came along, they had all of these, viral content. It's very different from Instagram content, but the impact that it can have on your business is actually magnified because you don't need to be like a creator with 1 million followers or 500,000 followers. You can be just a normal person posting a video and you can go totally viral. That's a totally, disruptive algorithm compared to Instagram's algorithm, which leads to a lot more opportunities for any type of brand.
So with
So,
that said, I have a question. I have two questions immediately. With TikTok compared to Instagram,
yeah.
how much does follower count influence your decision to work with a creator? Because before, I think follower count was a big factor.
Yeah. I mean, we just look at the quality of the content and video views. So if we see like a person has, 3,000 followers, but they really post great content and they've had a couple wins where they've like gotten, let's say, 200,000 views or 1 million views, we would totally send a sample and work with them, whether that's organic TikTok or TikTok Shop. The key to TikTok is the quality of the content. It's not actually who the person is. And that's really like the shift in mentality I think people have to have is what's important is the quality of the content, how they talk about the product, how they hook people in, and then also what is really the result or thing that they show, specifically for teeth whitening, showing white teeth.
That's great because that means that someone with 3,000 followers is affordable. That person's never going to say, I want 10 G's. I mean, if they do, they're delusional, but it just makes it so that now there's an entry point that's more manageable for brands. The second part of my question was, how much do you dictate what they say? Or are you just like all about creative freedom and you give them a few things? Hey, don't say this because, we're not allowed to say that, but anything else goes?
Yeah, we have a brief. It's like a one-page brief, super simple. It has some of the claims that we can say. And then we're very careful with like, okay, don't mention cavities, for example, because we know that's like a no-no. But otherwise, you want to leave it as open as possible because you don't really know where the big viral moment is going to come from. If you did, you would be able to do it yourself. You have to depend on these influencers for their creative ideas to really find that specific thing that will work for your brand and is scalable. That's also the difference. There's been in my opinion, this is like a once in every 50-year thing with TikTok. I think this is like the TV from 50 years ago, the effect. It's even beyond Meta and, radio, billboards, magazines, because you have to like totally throw out everything you know about marketing. It's not really about repeating the thing that's most unique about your brand. It's finding what people actually think is cool and interesting and grabs them in, So having a differentiated claim is not important as having something that's viral on TikTok. It's a totally different mentality.
And I'm sure you've chased it. I'm sure you spent a year or 2 years trying to chase virality. Can you guys, can you give us any cautionary tales on you like trying to mold future videos into repeating what those previous
Oh yeah.
videos did?
I mean, I think we've worked with so many different agencies on it. You know, that's been tough. You guys have been great for us where, with influencer outreach and also just focusing on optimizing our landing pages and all of that has been really great for us. But in terms of, trying to chase something, it's very hard to get virality without it being like something that the influencer finds for you. You're not going to be able to figure it out as a brand. It's kind of a test and learn. and continually trying to figure it out, which is the important thing. And then thinking that, okay, we got this person, for example, she slept with her whitening strips on, it got like 2 million views. We're going to have another person do that and it's going to get the same amount of views. That logic does not apply to TikTok. It's a totally different thing. Videos go viral for uniquely different reasons. It could be, for example, the girl was in like pretty pajamas or something, and that caught the attention of people. And then the other person you didn't do that, but followed everything else, and it didn't work. So it's not like something you can take from one place and put it into another. It's kind of you have to, open your horizons and put out different styles of content, let influencers have creative freedom and see where that takes you.
And how have you been able to scale this? Because my first fear is, okay, how in the heck am I going to do this again? I had an incredible Prime Day. I made 380K in one day. What do I do now? So, some tips on how you've been able to just scale, because from 2020 to now, you actually have been growing at a more rapid rate in the last 2 years than you did from 2020 to 2022.
Yeah, I think the key thing to our success is number one, when we got traction, we were very strategic with taking that traction and putting it into other channels. So one of the smart things we did is, okay, we got traction on social selling. Let's take this and leverage this into retail. Being in retail adds legitimacy and stability to your business. So that's why I'm so big on social selling is it's like the easiest pathway into retail, which gives you stable sales. And then you can have those, great months on social selling, those off months, but you have something underneath which adds that stability of revenue, brand recognition, legitimacy, and authority as a brand. That's one thing. But in terms of the social selling itself, the key thing is just to build a community of affiliates, build a community of influencers, making sure they're devoted to your brand, that they're continually and consistently posting, and you're just educating people and building a relationship. The more transactional you get with these relationships, the harder it is for them to like capture that lightning in the bottle or magical moment. It's more about building a relationship and, sending them product, making sure they like it, explaining what's different about your product, what are some interesting things that have worked. That's kind of the blueprint right now on how to, continually grow as a brand.
Okay, awesome. And how do you spiff these guys? Are you on a commission structure? Are you on a upfront plus commission? Are you doing only upfront? How do you wet their beaks and keep them excited?
Yeah, so right now we're doing mostly commission deals. So, we do some flat fee plus commission, but, commission only has worked really well for us on Amazon and TikTok Shop. So that's something that is easy for every brand because you're just giving a portion of your sales and you just need to calculate, okay, this is what my cost of product cost, this is what shipping is, and this is how much I can give, and this is what the margin I'll have left. So it's really scalable for any type of brand, really, when it's commission only.
Let's go into a couple of these wow stories. The first wow story was June 12th. That it sounds like that was your big moment. But since then, some investments, some returns,
Yeah.
what the ROAS look like, and then after that, let's go into a couple major fails.
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
not sugarcoat it here.
Oh, yeah. So I think one of the things that was super interesting is okay, in 2020, we're sending the influencer, like Anna Grace, for example, was doing a story and then sending it to Amazon. So like one of the bright ideas we had is okay, we know that Meta is and TikTok is a great ads medium. Why don't we take her content, like whitelist it from her page and run it as an ad for Prime Day? So that was one thing we did. And we spent about 100,000 on TikTok and Meta ads, spent about 50,000 each for October Prime Day, and we generated over 1 million in revenue on October Prime Day from those ads. So, like what it told me is okay, there's like real significant scale to this social selling. And one of the biggest regrets I have about Meta is that they didn't do this Meta shop and figure out this earlier
Yep.
because TikTok really came and took their lunch money. There's like maybe 20 to 30 brands that built their entire business and sold it just off of Meta ads. And I thought if they figured out Meta Shop and this algorithm, there would be another, 20 to 30 that would become massive brands Instead, it's going to be TikTok is going to be where the newest and greatest brands come from. And I think it's a great opportunity right now where TikTok Shop has become more mature. There's more systems to it. It's not as much of the wild, wild west as it used to be. It still definitely is. And I think that's what makes it tough. But there's still a massive opportunity where you can exponentially scale, similar to what we did from 5 to 70 million. It's totally doable right now on TikTok Shop.
So it sounds like a lot of the 70 million, or maybe a third of it is retail at this point. Okay. So how did your social selling journey influence and affect that retail journey?
Yeah, so basically what happened is the buyer started reaching out to us saying, we saw your BSR on Amazon, we saw that you're trending on TikTok Shop or on TikTok, and we want to have you in as part of our planogram, which is basically where they put you in on shelf. So the buyers right now are looking at Amazon and TikTok Shop sales more than ever. We just had our meeting with our Walmart buyer actually, and he was saying, "Yeah, we saw that viral video you had on TikTok, and they actually use FastMoss, which is like a TikTok Shop software, and they look like, okay, this is how many units were driven from TikTok Shop from this ad specifically." So they're really well versed right now into the power of social selling. And one of the metrics that I think is most interesting is 50% of sales from TikTok Shop are actually going to Walmart, Target, and Amazon. So they also know that they can ride the wave of this social selling by just having your product on the shelf. So they see it as like an easy add-on to their business where the brand is getting all this viral marketing and they're capturing it in shelf just because they're a well-known retailer. So I think that's what makes social selling and TikTok shops such an interesting opportunity is there's so many ways to leverage it. It's highly profitable. It's also the best way to get new customers right now by far. Meta is very mature. Amazon PPC, like the cost per click is just insane now with how many brands there are. So TikTok Shop is really the best opportunity.
So at this point, do you have videos that have been created by your affiliates or, commission-based creators basically on Evergreen through TikTok and Meta?
Yeah, yeah. We get a bunch of different videos that we test them as ads and then most of them just go organic and we get about 1,000 to 2,000 videos a month being posted. Like right now for us, like this Love Island thing, a lot of the hooks start with that because all of them have white teeth and it's like, oh, how did they get white teeth? And that's what's so amazing about TikTok is there's like a new thing every single day that you can talk about that people are interested in. So like today is Love Island. Tomorrow, probably we had like before that it was this influencer Marlon. I don't know if you guys know him. He's like this 6'5" guy, really nice smile. He's like all the teeth whitening brands are using him. So it's super interesting how it's more of like a everyday something's changing. You're kind of following trends and the content's a lot more interesting in my opinion.
So when you do a deal with an influencer, what kind of stuff's in the contract? Is it like what's usually the commission range? Do you buy the rights out the gate, or do you kind of wait? Yeah, let's go into the nuances of those conversations, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So the affiliate commission is between 20 to 30%. We won't go over 30%, and I wouldn't advise anyone to go over 30%. You're kind of giving away too much of your business. And I remember I also Jay was on your webinar before, and he also says that it's like a little bit sketchy for a creator. Why are you giving more than 30% away? So I think 20 to 30% is a sweet spot. For flat fees and stuff, I wouldn't really give more than $100 to $200 per video because with TikTok, you have to do so many videos to go viral. You can't just count on one video. So we like to do 10 to 15 videos per deal with an influencer. So, if you're giving $100, that's like what, 1,000 to 1,500. But if you're giving $1,000, that's like 10 to 15,000, which is way too much for something you don't really know will hit. So, those are the two main things. We put in a clause that you can't work with another teeth whitening brand for 30 days. That's something that we like to do. I think that's smart business wise. We don't actually get a lot of pushback on that. That has worked really well for us. But I think those are really the main things. And then we send our like one-page brief as example that just has our claims, gets the person excited about the product, talks about how we're already an established brand and we have studies, and then mentions a few things that we cannot talk about.
Interesting. Okay. And then the last part was the buying the rights to the content. Do you do that up front?
No. No,
Okay.
you can do that once you get traction on something.
Okay. So you get a little traction, video gets, let's just say modest. Let's say the video gets, 5Gs in sales on TikTok Shop or, maybe 10K on Amazon. Would that be a number where you'd be like, all right, let's
Yeah,
buy this?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
anything that gets over a few $1,000s in sales, you can massively scale it 100%, you know.
So, and the definition of massively scaling it is buying it, putting into a GMB max, putting it into a meta campaign, and just pumping money.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's the big takeaway for everyone here is like you're not constantly laying bricks. Like if you actually have a good video, that video can in perpetuity produce income for you just based on ad spend.
Yeah,
That's the
100%.
beautiful thing here.
Yeah, that's where that also adds a lot of stability to the brand, is just being able to use those ads in GMV Max and also Meta and even Snapchat, you could use it. And I think it's also because the quality of of content from TikTok is vastly better than anything that's ever been on Meta or on Snapchat or any of these social media platforms. I think that's the most unique thing about TikTok is I think it's sped up the quality of content from people like 200, 300%, where they really have to be dialed in on the hook. They really have to keep you interested. It's not really like a joking around matter where you can just be a well-known person and just talk in front of the camera and not really move for a minute and get away with it. Like you have to be constantly showing things, constantly doing a change of frames, all that sort of stuff.
That's fascinating, man.
All right, so here's another really interesting statistic. TikTok Shop versus Amazon growth. The early TikTok Shop landscape mirrors Amazon's supplement category in 2012, but with faster projected growth potential. In 2012, the top sellers on supplements were doing $5 million a month. 2012. Amazon now, after 13 years, the top supplement sellers are doing $162 million a month. TikTok Shop is currently at $5 million a month for the top supplement sellers. After just 4 years, is expected to match current Amazon levels. In 2021, that is the expectancy. So in short, TikTok is going to grow in 4 years what it took Amazon 13 years. Good. What do we do? When we work with brands, we basically do everything. We set up your account, get it approved. We register, verify it, and ensure compliance for TikTok Shop approval. We optimize your product listing with high converting titles, description, images, and UGC. If you already have your account set up and your product listing created, we'll optimize it if needed. We do affiliate marketing and influencer collaboration. All right. Onboard affiliates, structure commissions, and connect with creators for sales growth. User generated content. So we source direct and optimize high quality video content for ads and organic reach. We do sponsored ads, paid campaigns management. We create, launch, and manage TikTok ad campaigns with A/B testing and performance tracking. Order fulfillment and shipping management, whether we want to fulfill from MCF or your Shopify or a 3PL, will manage all that. We do customer support and case management, handle inquiries, refunds, disputes, and maintaining a high seller rating. We do promotional campaign and execution, run discounts, coupons, and participate in TikTok sales events for maximum exposure. Performance tracking and reporting, will send you a weekly report. And last, deliverables and timeline. Complete setup in weeks with ongoing daily management and monthly optimization. So basically, we'll just need to coordinate with you your inventory and your ad budget. And other than that, we do it all. So $4,000 a month, less than a full-time US employee. That's how much we charge to bring on the full team of highly experienced TikTok Shop managers. And then we charge 3% of the TikTok Shop sales with a 3-month minimum commitment required. So we do not take any percentage of your Amazon sales, although you will see an Amazon sales boost, but we only charge a percentage of the TikTok Shop sales. And something we recently started, so not a US based brand, no problem. We are one of the only TikTok Shop agencies that can help non-US brands get on TikTok Shop. Normally you need a US rep as well as a US company, LLC, bank account, US address. We can handle all that for you, no problem. We've done it with a few clients and we're more than happy to work with you. So take action now. All you gotta do, oh, this is the offer. This is the best part. I almost missed it. Scan this QR code or Jerry can also send the link to book a call. So all you got to do is book a call. It has to be this month. Okay, you can ask any questions. If you decide to work with us, we'll give you 75% off the first month. So instead of $4,000, you will pay $1,000 for the first month. We're limited to 20 brands. We're losing money on selling this for $1,000. We're losing a lot of money, so we're willing to do 75% off for the first 20 brands only. Thinking long term, most of our brands stay with us for years. So we're thinking long term here. We'll help you with the first month. And after our meeting, if you decide you do not want to work with us, it's fine. No worries. No commitment to anything. And the other thing, the catch is that this offer ends on August 1st. So once we have our meeting, if you decide you do want to work with us, but you're not ready to get started, let's say you're waiting for inventory or you're waiting for something and you want to get started August 15th, August 20th, it's fine. All you got to do is you would sign the agreement. We won't charge you and we won't start until you're ready, but at least we need your commitment.